There we go. Microphones work better when you turn them on. All right, I hope this goes okay. Y'all see how bad Frank can get in this class? Frank was doing that and worse first hour, so I'm kind of concerned for what Frank's going to do right now. But here's hoping. Folk, what are we at, like 40 something? Yeah, pretty close. See, look at how slow that is, like swimming in peanut butter. Okay. So we left off on page 40, right? Did you get these top two done? We had time to do those at the end of class. Everyone? Okay. So the big gist on these was you're going to let the calculator do the work for you, where you're going to do 6 parenthesis a number minus 7 over and over and over. Let the calculator do the work for you. But what we started getting was, what about if I don't have numbers? What if they didn't even tell me what x's to choose? Okay. This one, if I remember right, there's only 2 points even in the middle of my graph. Right? You had something way down here, and then 1, -1, and 2, 5. Okay? Everything else didn't even fit on the map. This one, if you chose odd numbers, you ended up with fractions, and we know how much y'all love fractions. So, did you write a big honking note to yourself, like, shove this in highlighter, it's that important kind of note to yourself, that if you have to choose numbers for x, choose numbers that are multiples of the denominator. So if I've got a x over 2, I don't want to choose 5, because 5 is not divisible by 2. I can't count by 2s to get to 5. What we instead did was we picked any numbers we could that were divisible by 2. So you'd be like -8, -6, -4, -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay? Those are numbers that are divisible by 2. So when I dump them in for x, I'll divide them by 2. It'll come out nice. No fractions. Okay? Now I wrote -8 to 8. Y'all look at the graph. How big does the graph go on its x's? Does it go out to -8 and 8? Doesn't make sense to use those then, does it? Does it go out to -6 and 6? No, it goes out to -5 and 5. Now, maybe you could go one box off road. I've done that before, plenty of times. But -4 to 4. I've got that right there in my graph. So those are the numbers we chose. We chose even numbers that were in my graph. That only needs to happen when you have a denominator, when they have a fraction. Okay, flip the page back to 39. And you see the x over 3. Look at the numbers they chose in the table. -6, -3, 0, 3, 6. They counted by 3's in their table because they had a denominator of 3. Makes life easier. Okay? So we only got one little thing left before we set you loose. And that is Oh no, words! Don't you make that face, Leslie. Like, I don't know. Look like Elise just gassed you or something. I mean, I get it. Sometimes that breakfast burrito hits hard. Um, they gave you the function. They give you the equation, right? Can you fill in a table? What kind of numbers should I be choosing? Okay. It says, and I suppose I shouldn't be sitting like right in front of you. Says plumbing company is going to charge $75 plus $100 an hour. That's actually not too far off. I think around here, typical plumber probably in that 80 to $120 an hour, depending on how big the business is, how quality their gear is. So $75 just to come out to your house, and then $100 for every hour they're working, and they will round up no matter what. If they work for 63 minutes, they are charging you for 2 hours. Okay? Represents cost of a plumbing job that takes X hours, make a table and graph. So X is hours. And it says C of X. Remember, when I do the thing, it'll get me a Y. I plug in X, it'll get me a Y. C of X is just the name of the function. So if X is the number of hours that it takes for them to do a job, where should I start? Like, what's the least number of hours that someone could take to come fix your water softener? Okay? Like, what if it was 0? Like, could they take 0 hours to fix your thing? Probably not. So do we want to try with 1? If it takes them 1 hour, you got a calculator. Use it. This right here, 75 plus 100x. Except you're going to put in there 1. Now, some of you probably just do this by mental math. You don't necessarily need the calculator. What's 1 times 100? 100 plus 75. 175. What's 2 times 100? Plus 75. Right? I know some of you are really good working with your hands. Some of you are probably going to work in a skilled service industry like plumbing, HVAC. Y'all, you're going to make so much more money than I ever will. Okay? Around these parts, certified welder, a diesel tech. Guys that run a mobile rig for oversized industrial tires, how much money they can make. You roll out onto some dude's ranch land in the middle of bum friggin' nowhere, and you have to replace the tires on his, 4-wheel drive tractor. Those things are taller than me. That guy is making money. It's like $200 an hour easy that they're charging. Now, he's not going to make that, but is he probably making 40, $50 an hour? I would not be surprised. Okay? Some of you are going to have to do this kind of stuff on a daily basis. So please, follow the bouncing ball. We said it was 175? And then we're going to plug in, what if it takes 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours? What do I get? 275? 375, and we see the pattern pretty easy, right? 475. Can you plot those points on here? Look at the scale. Look at the scale. Where are all these 75s going to end up? Halfway through the box. So we're going to go to 175 is halfway between 150 and 200. 275 is halfway between 250 and 300. 3, 375. 4, 475. I'm going to go like half a box off road. Y'all okay with that? Because if I'm at 400, the next box is 450. I'll go about a half a box above that. All right. Now, when we've connected these lines, when we've connected the dots, how far back should I go? Right? I know that I got this for sure. I know it goes off into the wild blue yonder. You know, you might have a service call that takes them 10, 12 hours. You know, just a giant mess. Some of these old houses, when they got to go in the basement, and they've got like PVC with shark bites on there, plus they've got brass fittings, plus they've got copper fittings, plus they still have a lead pipe in there for some reason. Like, it's going to take them a while. But how far back should I go? Can I have something that takes less than an hour? You know, like a half hour or so? Yeah. 0. Tell me in real life context. This says $75 plus $100 per hour. What is 0 hours look like? What is that in the real world context? It's $75 just to pull up to the house, and then $100 per hour. How could you get just a $75 bill? Okay, a fee for just showing up. What happens when you call the guy? He comes out on the weekend. It's $75 just to show up. He shows up to your house and you're like, oh no, I figured it out. We're good. They're still charging you because they had to come to your place. They had to not go to another call. They are losing money because they came to your place. They're still going to charge you $75 just for driving out there. So I will run this back to 75 like this. Does it make sense to go negative? Could it have taken negative 1 hours to fix something? I went back in time. No, doesn't make sense. Okay, and now, how much would a service call that took 4 hours? Well, that was a part of our table anyway, 475. Okay, so we were just about there. We were really close, but I told you, if at all possible, I want to avoid giving you any sort of homework, especially over a weekend, because I know you ain't doing it. Flip it over. Do you think you can press the buttons? Do y'all remember where fractions are on your calculators, if you're using mine? Louder.
Alpha Y.
Alpha y equals brings up your fraction menu if you're using my calculators. Okay? You just use the arrows to move around in them. But we might do more after this. I severely doubt it's going to take you 70 minutes to do this assignment. I'm thinking I'll give you about a half hour. I think some of you are going to be done well before that. Some of you are going to be struggling, and maybe we won't even have the first page done. I don't know. But I'm going to stop it there and say, you got a half hour to work, and then I'm going to check in and make sure where everyone is as a group. Okay? A half hour to work. You got 2 teachers in here. Ask questions, please. Okay? Yeah?